Hello and welcome to another Retfurb video. Today we're looking at the Sony TA-V715T stereo integrated amplifier. Just a quick overview of the amplifier, just looking at it a bit more closely, and then a brief demonstration of it working. So this amplifier is from 1989, it's 60 watts per channel, and it has a total harmonic distortion of 5%, which if I'm honest, for this sort of amplifier I would have thought it would have been better than that. I've got quite a few other different Sony amplifiers, and this one has the highest amount of distortion on paper. Now I've been using this amplifier for quite a long time in my office, probably about 3 years to be honest, and it's always been really good to be fair. I've only recently had an issue with the volume control, which turned out to be a loose solder joint just behind. There's a small little circuit board on that volume control itself, so it was relatively easy to fix. Other than that, I've not had any issues with it at all. As you can see, it's got a typical 80s design to it, which to be honest, I do like the look of. I do like all the 80s sort of looking amps. They're quite sort of plain black finish, particularly the Sonys around this era. Now sound wise, I've never had any sort of issues with it. The only thing I will say is I've actually changed it recently for a TA-V710 Sony amplifier, which is slightly older, and the sound difference is quite noticeable. Now I don't say it very often, I'm not an audiophile or anything like that, but now having used the V710 amplifier compared to the V715T amplifier, the sound it produces is a lot better. You can hear a lot more instruments clearly within the sound when the V710 is playing. So I will say that when you compare this amplifier to the one I've just changed it to, there is a noticeable difference. This isn't to say that the V715T isn't worth getting, because it is a good little amp. You can pick these up for a reasonable amount of money. I think most of the time you find them with the amplifier and a tuner together. So that you'd probably be looking at about £60 currently, which for that amount of money I would say, yeah, definitely it's worth it. Now looking at the back of the amplifier, you can see it's got quite a good selection of inputs and outputs. Unfortunately, it only has 2 speaker outlets for left and right, so there's no way of adding more speakers to it, not directly through the amplifier anyway. There's also a couple of proprietary connections on the back of it. All the outputs and inputs on this should be more than enough for the basic user. Now we're going to show the system in operation and just run through the basic controls on it. So would I recommend buying this amp? Yes, I would. At the price point that I said, around £60, it's a good buy. I definitely wouldn't go any more than £100 on it. I don't think it's worth any more than that currently. That's not to say that it's a bad amplifier, because it's okay to be fair. But there are obviously a lot better out there, and for not a lot more money to be honest. As an alternative, I would recommend the TA-V710 amplifier. This can also be picked up for a pretty good price, probably a little bit more than £60, but this is definitely worth the extra. Thanks again for taking the time to watch the video, it's appreciated. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.